Everyone. So today's Java program is about calculating the sum of largest subarray in a contiguous locations. So what this problem asks is we have to see which particular subarray in this particular entire array have the maximum sum, right? So if you consider this minus 2 1, this can be considered as a subarray. Similarly, minus 3 4, it can be considered as a subarray. You can also have a little longer subarray like minus 2 1, minus 3 4, and you can also have minus 1 2 1, minus 5 as your longest subarray. And yeah, so this can be the subarrays, but only condition here what we have to check is the subarrays have to be in continuous locations. For example, you cannot have minus 1 2 minus 5 these considered and you are calculating the sum. That is not allowed. Only thing is you have to have subarray in the continuous locations like minus 2 1 minus 3, this can be considered, or 4 minus 1 2 1, this can be considered as a subarray. So that is the condition. Only thing is it has to be in a continuous locations. Now you have to calculate the sum for each and every subarray in this particular array and give back the sum which is having the maximum sum, right? So let's see how it can be solved using the Java program. So this minus 1 what we are returning is a placeholder. So I'm passing the array to this particular method over here to calculate the maximum subarray. So for this, the way to solve this is using two pointers. So one will be your maximum value. So currently we'll consider the first value in the array as the maximum, and you will also need some another variable called current sum. I'll explain why we need these variables and how to calculate it while I write the program. So we have to iterate through a loop and find the sum every time. So current int I equals to 0, I less than array dot length and I plus plus, sorry. So this is for loop that we have. Now I have to calculate the current max every time, guys. Now the way I do it is math.max of nums of I. This means I have to calculate whether this particular number is bigger or the combination of this number followed by the next subsequent number is bigger. That is what I have to check, right? For example, minus 2 is bigger or minus 2 plus 1 is bigger. Which one is bigger? Because if minus 2 is bigger, then I will keep only that. If minus 2 with the next number is bigger, then I will keep only that number as the maximum, right? So how do you have to do? So the current value plus what is the current sum, guys? Current max. Okay, so in this case what is happening is we are calculating this value plus next subsequent value, right? So current sum I'm adding to the next subsequent value. I think it will be but I think we have to initiate from 1 because 0 we have already considered as a current sum, right? We'll start from 1 itself. Now what is happening, let's see what will happen up to this point. There is a few lines other we have to write, but yeah, let's see what is happening until this point of time, then I'll go to the next line. So as I said, so we the very first element what we are getting in the current max and the max value is minus 2, right? So minus 2 will happen. Now what will be stored as a part of current max? Now we are comparing minus 2, sorry, not minus 2, 1, which will be the nums of 1, right, which is 1, and 1 plus current max, which is 1 plus minus 2, right? So that will be minus 1. So we are comparing the max of 1 comma minus 2 plus 1. So now clearly what we are going to get is 1, right? So current max will be your 1. Okay, so before going to the next iteration, I will write another piece of code over here. So max equal to math.max, we have to compare current max with the max value. Okay, now we have to return the max. So that's it, guys. It's a simple piece of code. So now I'll say what is happening here. So current max will be your -2 comma, that will be your max value, and your current max is already 1, right? So you're comparing. I think I would rather say 1 comma -2, because we have written current max comma max, right? Now what is the maximum of these two? 1, right? So your max value will be 1. Now let's come to the next iteration. Next iteration, we have -3 as nums of I, right? Now that will be your first element, -3 comma 1. Now you add this particular 1 to -3. What will happen? You will get -2 here, right? So this will be -2 comma -3, and the max value will be -2. Now you compare what is the max value, right? So in this case, current value is -2 comma 1. We don't change anything over here because maths is already 1, right? So -2 is a smaller number. We'd ignore that. Like this way, it will iterate through the entire loop, guys. Now for example, I'll take one more iteration. Now the current max is -2, but the next element is 4, right? So now the next element is 4, guys. So current max is -2. Until this point we have -2, so we'll calculate 4 as well, right? So that means 4 comma, what is the max of 4 comma -2 plus 4? And this turns out to be 2. 4 comma 2, which one is greater? Obviously 4 is greater, so we'll get 4. Right, so we then we compare with 4 with 1. Obviously we get 4 as an end result, and max will be stored, 4 will be stored in the max, guys. Now that means what? So we are ignoring this entire array of -2, 1, -3, because 4 is simply bigger number, right? Now you have current value as 4, current max as 4, and the max value is 4, and when we go to the next iteration, it'll add up. So this is how the algorithm works for the rest of the numbers that we have, and the max value is stored at the end of the iteration. Max value will hold the max sum of the largest subarray, and that is what we are returning, guys. So even if you continue with the next rest of the iterations, so only the max value will be returned, right? So I hope you understood the program, and even if you run the program with a different array, you will always get the max. Now you get 6 here. The 6 is the summation of 4 minus 1 to 1, and that is the maximum subarray that exists in the input array that we have over here, guys.